Good afternoon and welcome to Brunel University London's Public Health and Health Promotion webinar. During the next hour there will be two presentations, one from Dr. Wendy Martin, who will be talking about the course, and one from Annette Aliou, who will be talking about her experience as a student here. At the end of their two presentations there will be an opportunity to ask questions. To do this you should type your question into the panel in front of you and click submit. You may need to open up your question bar at the right-hand side of your screen. It would be useful if you could also type your name so that we can read it out when we read the question. I now have pleasure in introducing Dr. Wendy Martin.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brunel University. I'm the Programme Leader for the MSc Public Health and Health Promotion, and I hope in this short presentation to really give you a sense of what the course involves, the content, and the requirements that are required to come and study on the course. So the first thing is to give an overall of the actual course and what we do. The first thing to note is it's called Public Health and Health Promotion. So one of the key significances is that we do cover both of these. We cover both public health and we cover health promotion. So it enables you to have all the theories and the thinking and the evidence that informs both public health, which is much more population level, and health promotion, which is more individual and community level. So we look at these both, and it's very contemporary. The course is it's a second year we've run this new updated course. We updated the course, so it's all cutting edge course. It's the second year we've been running it. And so it's contemporary public health and health promotion. We do it at the local, national and global levels. Because we have a wide diversity of students, we tend to teach most of our examples and thinking around the global. So we use lots of global examples, although of course you can link that to your local and your national context as well. So it's not about, we don't teach English or UK public health as such, although we might refer to it at certain times. So one of the key things we also do is one of the key issues around public health and health promotion to understand is health inequalities and social and health inequalities, the determinants of health. So we do a whole study block on understanding health inequalities and how they impact and facilitate and provide and have barriers to public health and health promotion. So we look at social and economic inequalities, and also the politics and the policy and the social justice. What can we do to promote the value of social justice? You build your knowledge and skills through a form of reflection, reflective practice, by doing of research, communication, and we also have assignments and group work that enhance communication and transferable skills and working in groups. The course is very multidisciplinary. Both public health and health promotion are both informed by many different disciplines. Many of the students and the staff come from different disciplines as well. So that's something that's really, I'm going to talk a little bit more about because that's quite essential as well. And we do the whole lot of evaluating evidence and evaluating health information and policy. And we look at ethical, political, societal and cultural dilemmas. And we do that through looking at different case studies in what we do. One of the key things we do offer on this course, which is at the final aim there, is about giving everyone the opportunity to do an empirical research project. So that's where you either collect your own data or use secondary analysis or whatever. We're great believers you learn research by doing research. Some universities have moved away from empirical research. We've gone the other way, and that's quite a key thing of what we offer. So one of the key aspects about the course that you'll soon learn is it's informed by a number of different disciplines, and we do cover within the curriculum global public health, health promotion, epidemiology, demography, policy, sociology, psychology. We're informed by geography and history as well. Our students also come from very diverse backgrounds and are interdisciplinary as well. We have many from biosciences, social sciences, different sciences and health professions, from doctors, nurses and all related health professions. So we are aware that you're multidisciplinary and we're teaching a multidisciplinary interdisciplinary course. So we do have an academic development and skills development that we have throughout the 2 teaching terms, in terms 1 and 2, where we can help develop different range of skills. So as you all come with something slightly different, we help build up whatever it is that you want to enhance. One of the key things we do explore are the principles, perspectives and practices around health promotion and public health. And at master's level, that's obviously advanced skills and knowledge within these. The curriculum in terms of health promotion and public health are informed by the competencies that are required for both of these in professions. So, for example, I teach health promotion, and it's about understanding how health promotion developed, the different theories of health promotion in practice, and leadership in health promotion. Just some examples of the competencies, and they're all covered within the curriculum. We have a whole range of diverse methodologies that we draw upon. We draw the statistics, and people do quantitative, qualitative, media and systematic reviews. So you learn, and research is central to the course, and you have two modules on, two study blocks on research that inform that. And one of the key things is about how we link theory with policy and practice. We tend to do this through using examples, so we can teach the models and theories, and then we look at them in practice by looking at examples. And as I say, these are often global or international examples. The next slide here is a range of study blocks. These are the different blocks of study that you will have in terms of the teaching and learning. So as you can see, there's global public health. That's very much around the population level, the demography, the epidemiology, and looking at different case studies and understanding of global public health. We have a health promotion study block, which is around looking at the models of health promotion, looking at health and well-being and how that's developed and changed, and how we implement change in practice. So we look at different ways of exploring it and exploring communities and that type of thing. As the name of the course suggests, these two are the largest study blocks: global public health and health promotion, and makes the foundation of the course. On top of that, we also do health and society, where we look at the social and health inequalities. So, for example, around ethnicity, gender, age, all the different inequalities that people. So, thinking about how and why these inequalities happen, the evidence and explanations for them. We have evidence and communication, where you look at systematic reviews and different ways that health promotion and public health can be communicated to the wider world. Obviously, all health promotion and public health needs to be informed by health policy and cannot be seen in isolation of the political system. So we have a study block on health policy, politics and social justice. And to think about how we put all these into practice, we have one particular study block about implementing change. How do you consider all these different ideas and theories and different things we've looked at, and through modelling a change and how that happens. As you can see on the right-hand side of the slide, that's all around the research. There's 2 research modules that you do: approaches to research, which teaches you the generic approaches and different ways of the research methods, quantitative, qualitative, systematic reviews, all of them. And then in research and practice, as we say, we believe that you learn research by doing research. So we actually we practice them in the classes and in workshops and enable you to really develop those research skills. And of course, the dissertation. The dissertation can be in a topic of your own choice, and I'll give you some examples in due course. On the next slide, as you can see, the different range of assessment blocks that we have. As you can see, there is an exam. The first assignment is an essay. It's usually something around health inequalities, because health inequalities tend to be a foundation to how public health and health promotion are practiced. So it's a short essay, 1,500 words. In the second term, you have the opportunity to do an oral presentation in the seminar report. Again, this is really important for transferable skills. So you have the oral presentation, you do the oral presentation and learn how to, and you submit a short seminar report on that. We have a portfolio of research methods and skills, which is where you learn the research, you submit an assignment on your research design, and actually use data, quantitative, qualitative data. So you practice the skills of interviewing and work and analyse data for that. And there was also the case study, which is where, again, this can be a topic of your own choice. We're a great believer that it's important for you to be able to study what is of interest to you and what's going to be useful to you in your career, or is purely of interest to you. So you can do a case study, a model, how that the barriers and facilitators of something that would happen, a model of that change that could happen in an area of health promotion. And of course a dissertation, which is where you do your own piece of research. Here I've given you a range of some of the, I haven't included the ones from this year. I'm sure Nick might say a bit more about what the topics in this year, but here's some of the dissertation topics that people have done. And as you can see, there's a huge range. There's things from experiences of health and well-being amongst women from Afghanistan, people about online support for people with HIV, experiences of loneliness among students. Loneliness is often known as an older person's thing, but it's actually one of the highest incidences in young people. Female genital mutilation and the roles and responsibilities of teachers, which linked into the new policy that came out last year. And this year we have one student going to Africa to talk about well-being of people who have experienced female genital mutilation. There's other ones about Ghanaian community living, and smoking attitudes amongst Brunel. Some of these have been qualitative projects, some of them have been quantitative projects, some have been done in the UK, some, as you can see, have been done overseas, for example, childhood eradication in Uruguay, or there was the Swiss Catholic missionaries in Taiwan, and perceptions of health and risk in India, or counselling services in Canada. So there's a whole range, as you can see, and you'll get a supervisor in the third term onwards, or second term onwards, who you work with towards your independent dissertation. The course is of interest to a wide range of professionals who may be working in health and social care, in local government, education, the voluntary sector. As I say, the requirements is a 2-2 of a degree, first degree, and that can be in health, in a healthcare or health degree, undergrad, first degree. It can be in social sciences, biosciences, biomedicine, a whole range of different sciences, and the main sort of real thing is for you to have a real interest, that you want to learn and gain advanced knowledge and skills in health promotion and public health. So there's a range of different students that come here. We have international UK and EU students, which I think adds to real dynamism of the course, because, you know, part of it we're talking about global issues, and having different students from different countries enables us to hear different cultural issues and different cultural ways and different understandings of health and well-being. The structure of the course, if you want to come full-time, it's for 1 year. It's literally 52 weeks. Your dissertation is due in week 52. So we start in mid-September for 1 year. If you're part-time, you come over 3 years. So you have your teaching and learning in year 1 and year 2, and you do your dissertation in year 3. In terms of the structure of actually being the teaching structure over the whole year, teaching usually takes place for full-time students over 3 days. It has this year and is likely to be next year, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's in terms 1 and 2, so that's the autumn term and the spring term. And the terms are usually 10 to 12 weeks. And the students have before said that they wanted more time in the classroom learning, and so you do spend a lot of time with the lecturers. We're very committed, and you to your learning, and you do spend a lot of time having your learning. In terms of if you want to do the course part time, in year 1, it's usually you come in for 2 days, usually the third Tuesday and Thursday, and in year 2, the Wednesday and year 3 is independent study. If you're doing the course full-time, of course, once you've done your teaching and learning, the exams period finishes in May usually, and then you're again doing independent study until September on your dissertation. And we have a series of dissertation workshops to support you alongside your supervisor. Employability is quite central. A lot of people come onto the course because they're looking to transfer, either to enhance their skills in what they've already known in health promotion and public health, or to transfer into professions within this area. We have employability throughout the course. We have careers. Advisor who comes to speak to you. The assessment strategy is set up for employability, that we have a number of transferable skills. For example, you use different evidence that you can show that you can use, that you've done oral presentations, that you've modelled certain things. And in the third term, we tend to have, and this year we're quite excited, we're going to have in May some people coming from public health and health promotion talking about how they got into their roles and what their roles involved. So we understand employability is really important. So we have careers initiatives within the programme as well as transferable skills. There's many different areas that people can go into in terms of NGOs, health and social care, public health, health promotion, also of course academic study and doctoral study as well. So there's my contact details, and the administrator Karen Clayton, she's off away at the moment on leave until April, but that's her email address. She'll be back in April, and there's my email address. So if you want to get in touch with me or with a colleague Sarah and Gerdit here, who I'm sure will email you on Monday, please do. And I'm going to pass over to Annette now, who is one of our students and one of our student representatives, because we take your views very seriously, and she's going to talk a bit about how she found the course. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that presentation. As Dr. Wendy Martin said, we're now going to pass over to Annette. So I'm just going to pull up her PowerPoint slides. Okay, so Annette is going to talk to us about life as a student here at Brunel University London. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, my name is Annette Aliu, and I'm a student of Brunel Public Health. I'm just going to give you my perspective and how I feel as a student in this university. What are the things that are important to me? How do I see the school? And if I want to recommend it to somebody, what should I say, from my own perspective? Now, about myself, I live in London here, and I've been a nurse for a long time now, working in London Hospital. Very passionate about health awareness and promotion, and that's the more reason that I'm here studying the course. And I'm a student leader and an ambassador in the course. So why did I choose Brunel? I choose Brunel because of certain things. Before I made my decisions, I had to do a little bit of search, even though I live in London, and I understood a little bit more about the trends of academic and the institution, but I still had to do a little bit of more detailed research, and I discovered that among the universities I was looking at, Brunel had much more what I needed. I wanted a university with excellent academic rating and good student satisfaction, a university that, when you come out, you're going to have a job, high employability, and I particularly needed a university that offers a course, as a combined course, where you could study public health and health promotion together. So that was what I was looking at. And when I came for the postgraduate drop-in evenings, and I took a walk through the school, I fell in love with the school. I mean, the topography is beautiful. So that is why I choose Brunel University. My friends who are alumni of the school, they're already gainfully employed as public health practitioners. Now in this slide, you see some of the main modules that is being done, and Wendy did a good course on that. She's already explained that to you. Now, resources is very important for me as a student and for all the other students. In Brunel, I discovered that the library is a standard library. I mean, I've been to different universities during my undergraduate studies and some other courses that I did. This is the first time that I've seen a university that is purpose-built on 4 floors and is well equipped 24/7. And the e-library is equally very well equipped, so we're particularly happy with that. And then one thing I noticed is that you could learn a book for up to 4 months, before you return. So that gives you the flexibility to actually use those books. Now, the Academic Skills Center is another resource for the student, because with that, you could have help with your career skill development. I mean, if you have some assignment, you want to write something, especially if English is not your first language, and you really don't know how to structure it, you just go there, and they're so helpful, they're so wonderful, and we've been, finding good support from the Academic Skills Center. Also, we're very lucky here that the academic staff, I mean the lecturers, and especially the course leader, they're very approachable and they're very friendly. And that's one thing I love about the school, because in other universities, sometimes you're not able to meet with your tutors. So this is very good. Tutors are very handy. We're having tutoring at Brunel, where you actually have a tutor right from when you enter the university, and that gives you the support to, whatever you need. So that's very good. And then during your dissertation, you have another supervisor that helps you. So we have great lecturers here, and that's a plus to them, I must say. And then also we have graduate school, which is a facility that offers us trainings. They organize lectures, workshops, and further trainings, and even online resource. You could use them in certain areas, that especially in research, dissertation, they're quite useful. And also, if you're an international student and you're not very comfortable with writing in English or speaking English, you could also benefit from them. They have accessible support. Then there's other thing that happened, which is a field trip, which you could see the picture on the bottom side there. That's one of the trips that we attended. A workshop, which was an environmental workshop that was quite handy, because you could really feel the practicality of the course, and that was so helpful. And there are other workshops that are organized in the campus, and they're all free for students. So those are really very useful for students. Now, student involvement. In Brunel here, you have opportunity as a student, if you so desire, to be very effective in the student union. You can join the Brunel Union of Students, and you could take part in student leadership. It's beautiful. It's beautiful volunteering, and you make a difference. You're adding to your portfolio, and you're increasing your value in leadership. You're meeting people. It's wonderful. It's a whole world of innovation in this university. It's fantastic. Now, there's something that is unique for me, and that is space. I'm in love with space. And that's one of the things when I came in here and I saw the space and the environment, I said, wow, this is what I wanted. Now, in graduate school, we have a space for postgraduate students. For those who are living within London, you're not in the campus, and you want to bring in your food, you want to make some, something for yourself. We have a beautiful kitchen, and we have the lounge, the picture on the bottom left. that's the graduate lounge, and they have comfortable chairs, colorful. So it's an opportunity also to meet, other graduate students, and you share ideas, and it's always a beautiful time. And most days they give us free tea, free snacks. So that's a plus. We love it. Okay, now if you're living in the campus, we have beautiful accommodation which my friends, my colleagues that are living on campus. We have cafeterias, we have nice eating places which you can, always have your lovely meals. And also there are some on-site grocery stores for your shopping if you're living on site. So it's and fruit markets where we have beautiful, fresh vegetables and fruit, and they are affordable. And also for me, car park was an issue because the previous universities I attended, it wasn't so good with parking. So having to use the public transport, and it wasn't that funny. So I was looking out for a place that I could actually drive and park, the ease of it. And I found in Brunel that you have, a good space for parking, and it's wonderful. So that is a plus also. The space for parking is quite beautiful. Now leisure. I must say that the public health and health promotion course is a very intensive course, especially if you're doing it on full-time basis. It's quite comprehensive because of the diversity, the many areas you needed to cover, to have the experience and the knowledge you need to function in that field. So it's something you need to prepare yourself for. If you're going for a part-time, which is over 3 years, it's much more relaxing. But having said that, it is, they usually say all work without, play makes Jack and all, but that we have an environment here that you always have time for leisure. The environment is quite similar, it's beautiful, peaceful, and relaxing, and you have a good social mix. The weekend gig sometimes happens, which is good. Now also, Brunel as a university in London Metropolis offers you incredible opportunities for sports. We have a fantastic sports center, and you could see that's my very self on the left doing some workout. I do that, it's quite relaxing also to have that happen, because when you sit down to read most of the time, you get up and then you burn the fat a little bit, so that's good. Now we also have the one on the far left, on the far right. That's a big sports center for athletics, for judo, for all kind of sport, and it keeps students busy, and helps you to keep fit also. And if it's okay, I'm going to go to the Metropolis. We've got some beautiful places in London that you could go. The London Eye, all the fantastic places, they're all here in London. So it's a time to, you find time to go out, your weekends. The good thing is that if you're doing a full-time course, you have just 3 days in school. So you have all your weekends out. So you could have a good mix of studying and a time to relax. You could see that's my very self there. I did a bit of charity work, and I won some awards, so that's fantastic mix. Okay, apart from that, when we mentioned the dissertation topics, yes, these particular groups, we have students from all over the world. All over the world. It's a beautiful mix, and they're all coming with different backgrounds and skills and experiences. So that's a nice blend. The dissertation this year covers almost all aspects of public health and health promotion. Some of them take on aging, active aging, and some of them take on women's health, some on diabetes, and diverse topics, which is going to make beautiful research and reading. So I hope That gives a little bit of insight into what Brunel life in Brunel is actually like as a student. Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you, Annette, for sharing those experiences with us. Okay, you're welcome now to ask questions to either Dr. Wendy Martin or to Annette. And we've got the first few questions coming in. Okay, so the first question is with regards to funding. This person would like to know how to access funding.
Okay, in terms of funding, I think it depends. I think from this year there's going to be, what's it called? The student loans for people from UK and the European Union. And there are a few sponsorship things, but there's not many. I think the best thing is if Sarah, we can send the link to you all we can send you the link to the sponsorship page. There are some international opportunities that Brunel offer, and as I say, there is the opportunity to have the funding. There is a lot of support in terms of negotiating the financial side. As programme leader, I'm not the best expert on it because obviously mine is the academic content, so I'd probably like to have more of an expert really answer that question.
That's fine. What we'll do is as Dr. Wendy Martin said, we'll send a link through with some extra information through with that as well. So hopefully that should help you. Okay, the next question is, do you have a taught PhD in public health and health promotion? If yes, is it possible to upgrade?
We don't have. We used to have a doctorate of public health, which we don't have it anymore. But I mean, there are doctoral public health and health promotion opportunities. Quite often these days, people tend to do a master's, and then if they want to go on to doctoral study, then can move. Because in the master's you learn the key skills and competencies of health promotion and public health, but you also learn the research methods and a range of research methodologies. So it's usual for people to do a master's and then go on to doctoral study, and there is that opportunity, but there's not a taught doctorate of public health.
No. This question is perhaps more to Annette, but Annette mentioned about contact with a tutor. How many hours contact approximately would you say that you have with your tutor?
Thank you. Now, what happens is when we came in, we had the tutors. We're not limited to hours. We're not limited to hours. It's only when we get into the dissertation. Dissertation gives you about 14 to 20 hours with the dissertation supervisor, because that's mostly like consultation. What do I do here and there? But your tutoring in Brunel gives you a tutor that you liaise with in your course at any time. You can approach them at any time. Thank you.
So it's Wendy here. Just to add to that, I suppose we have different roles. We have the personal tutor role, which is the tutoring at Brunel, where you're allocated. But of course, with the teaching full time on 3 days a week, you're seeing all the staff quite regularly. So that a lot of it can be informal. So you're regularly seeing the lecturers. That would be fair to say.
Yeah.
You see it a lot in the first 2 terms. But of course, we also have your personal tutor, and then once you got allocated, you work with your supervisor and dissertation workshops. So yeah, we are around a lot.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, we have another question in. What is the timetabling like for part-time students, and how many days, and are they full days?
The part-time route, in year one, you come in, the part-time route is over 3 years. So in year one, there's 2 taught days, usually Tuesday and Thursday, and it's likely to be the same next year. In the second year, and that's in term 1 and 2. When I say term 1 and 2, I mean the autumn term and the spring term, because after Easter, whenever that lands, you tend to be focusing on assignments. So if you're thinking about what days you need to be at the university. In the second year, you come in for 1 day, which is a Wednesday. And so in the second year, you come in for 1, and again, that's in the autumn term and the spring term. And then in the third year, you're doing your dissertation. So you work around doing your dissertation and working with your supervisor. So you can make the days that suit you and your supervisor.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, there's another question just in. If you sign up to be a full-time student and are not able to continue full-time, would it be possible to switch to being part-time?
Yes, you can. Yes, and that does happen. People sign up full-time, and then, as I always say, life happens, and that'll probably smile when I say that. I would say life happens, and things, So yeah, people do change the part-time route. Now that would be a particular time. We'd obviously advise you to speak to the program leader and to your personal tutor, because you need to look at the impact of that to you. I don't know. I think if just to make sure they're around fees and completing your study. So we would talk. Yes, it is possible, and we've done it many times. So it's not a problem, but we would talk to you about the pluses and minuses of changing your route partway through, because as for everybody, our aim is we want you to complete the course. You know what I mean? So we will do everything we can to help you successfully complete the course within the limits and the rules and regulations of the university, and ensuring equity and fairness among students.
Thank you. Okay, I have a question now from Jade, who hasn't studied for quite a while. She has a BA in Social Administration from 1992. Is that an undergraduate degree that you would consider for the course?
Usually most social science, social administration type course are usually, it would be considered. If it has to be 2 or above. And having not studied for a while, I mean, Annette could probably say a bit more, but we do have academic development workshops throughout the course, because as I've kind of said, I wouldn't worry so much, because you'll find people here will come from a range. People have done biosciences, or some people may have done lots of statistics, but have never written an essay. We'll have other people who've written lots of essays and don't know how to do statistics. So what we do is we have this academic development workshops we have once a week, and our aim is that they're obviously voluntary, but most people often go, and we do developing essay skills, we do developing writing skills. We have a literary fellow who works with you on writing. With writing is different to study skills. This year we've had some statistics training from as well. So each year we have a series of different skills development to help you through. I don't know if you want to say something about that now, because you've experienced it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. In terms of support, I must say we are blessed with the Ask. I mentioned Ask. The academic skill, they're always there, and it doesn't matter the area you want to update yourself on. They're always there all the time, and we have some other resource that you can draw from. So yes, it's something you could make. The resources are there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good luck with that, Jade. Are there any further questions? Just keep it open for another minute in case someone has another question. Okay, there's another question about fees. Is there any support with the fees? Again, I think we can send a separate email out about that because there seems to be a few questions with regarding funding. So after the webinar, perhaps the beginning of next week, we'll send an email out with regards to fees and funding.
And the new loan for people who are postgraduate. Yeah. As you can see, I'm not completely familiar with it. I know it's coming.
Oh, that's fine. Well, towards the beginning of next week, we will send an extra email out with some extra information with regards to that. Okay, the next question that's come through is how many students are on the course on average?
We normally, this year we've got about 18. We normally have between 28 and 35. So it depends, each year it can slightly change, anywhere from 20 to 35 students. So usually an interesting mix, which excites us.
Thank you. Right, Karen would like to know, she's completed a public health master previously and would like to do this one. Do we give it any credits for any of the subjects?
We'd probably have to come through admissions and we'd have to look at what you've done before and how equivalent they are. So it can be possible, but without seeing your profile, the courses you did, and etc., etc. It is possible, but we'd have to look to make sure, because we can only give, as you would understand, we have to know that you've covered everything. So it's possible, but I'd have to look. You'd have to send it in, and I'd have to look at what we think could, whether it is possible or not, because we have to look whether what you learned is equivalent to what we teach.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
If she sends it to admissions as well. She asks admissions. Sorry, Karen, if you send it to admissions, your profile, you have to give your whole profile where it was, and let them know that you've spoken to me, and they'll communicate with me. So it's best you need to go through admissions because I need their advice on equivalences between courses.
Any more questions? Okay, that seems to be the end of the questions. So thank you for attending our Public Health and Health Promotion webinar. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and we hope that we'll be seeing you at Brunel University London soon. That is now the end of our webinar, but a recorded version will be available on our Brunel University website shortly. Goodbye, and thank you for attending.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.